Again, everybody, it's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader at TechTrader.com. It's Saturday morning, the 25th of May, Memorial Day weekend. Hope you guys are having a good time. Markets had a good week, but going forward, it's going to be more difficult. Let's just see if that is the case. Based on what I'm seeing on the S&P 500, after the big run-up we had from the October low last year down at 4,100, we've made it up to a new high on Thursday at 53.41. 1,250 points, about 25% in such a short period of time is phenomenal. But the market itself doesn't look done to me yet until it rolls over. The trend is your friend. The trend right now is up. We broke out 2 weeks ago here above the moving averages, which we're crossing over now, right here. And so this is a consolidation. Now Thursday's pullback low of 52.56 for me is the initial first support, followed by 51.85. These two levels here represent what I think is going to be key going forward. On the upside, S&P 500 measures 54.85 to 5,500. And intermediate term, 56.85, 5,700, maybe. Of course, everything depends on where we go and if we hold support or not. That's the S&P. Here's the NASDAQ 100. Same thing. Thursday, it spiked up and pulled back. We got to 18.9, backed off, and then bounced again on Friday. But it was an inside day. Nevertheless, you can see the move through that key resistance level and a trend now that says we could go, if we get to the mid-channel line, into the 19 and even 19.67 range. Key support right now, probably about 18, 360, 375 in that area. But the small caps, if you take a look at what we did with the NDX making new highs, S&P making new highs, the small caps did not need the transportation. So there's kind of a negative divergence there, and that's got to be careful about. Now, the small caps did back off key resistance to be understood and got to the trend line, bounced on inside day Friday. So I'm not keen on this just yet. But at 201 is support for the IWM. Resistance right now, obviously, about 209.5, 10, and then the spike at 212 there. And should he get to that, you can see where the secondary resistance would call for a move up to 215. What's even worse than that is basic Dow theory forecast says that the transportation index needs to confirm the industrials. Not even close. Not only did it break down and snap back in a rising wedge that failed near the moving average and trend line, but it's come down pretty well. We've only had two little bounces here and there in the last 5, 6, 7 sessions on the transportation index. Not clear on what that means, but you can see support at 14.975 and then 14.8. Below that, the major trend line that goes way back a couple of years. It comes in around 14.5. But with this in a downward channel configuration, the IWM pulling back, this has got to hold and confirm any further movement in the NDX and S&P. Okay. We're going to take a look at the underlying technicals. We call an oscillator, which got to plus 150, 142 is actually the number it got to, which was the highest reading we've seen since December. So that was the highest reading of the year. It came down quickly, a minus 100, 96.5 in that area, which has been an area where we have bounced quite a few times in the last couple of years. So that's oversold, but not extreme oversold, which is down here near minus 160 to 200. Don't know if we can get there. We'll see. The percentage of stocks participating, which was just barely half at 58%, is now 45%. The trend is up, but less than half the stocks participated in that rally, or at least are participating now. And I wanted to show you that the VIX reached a multi-year low. On Thursday, the low was 11.52. We haven't seen 11s since 2018. How about that? It's almost a 6-year low on the VIX. Talk about extreme apathy. Obviously, the market gets extremely oversold when we're up here, but right now it's indicating a market that's not too worried about a major collapse, and that could be dangerous. So let's take a look at some of the major components. Apple, after breaking out and pulling back in a wedge, popped again and now then pulled back, but on Friday recovered beautifully. Friday, this was up 307. And you can see right now that short term, Apple needs to hold it right there. Meaning Thursday's low is key for many stocks. 186.5 or so could signal a much deeper retrace towards 178.81 zone. But it's bullish. Amazon's the one stock right now that I'm seeing that's drifting, but it isn't falling apart, just in an orderly retrace. Now it's below the moving averages for the first time in 3 weeks or so. So I'm not overly concerned, but this is something you want to watch. Need to hold it right about there. On the other hand, Google, new all-time highs last week at almost 180, and then nice consolidation, but it's holding the trend line, multiple waves up. And if we do get a blowout market to the upside, this is headed towards 200 to 205. Microsoft also broke out last week, new all-time high, and then set up a flag. Thursday's high of 433.60 is the all-time high. Get through that, probably head to 448.50 or more. Netflix also did what Microsoft did, popped out. It wasn't to an all-time high, but it broke the April highs and then set up a nice little consolidation. Friday popped 11 points. This one looks like it's headed back up near 700. Meta wasn't looking great, but you can see it popped on Friday and backed off. This has got to get up through, I'd have to say, 484. Once you see that, you might see 5505. Key for Meta is support, and this is something you don't want violated, under 460. NVIDIA, monster of the midway. With the earnings and a 10-for-1 split, the stock exploded to new all-time highs, reaching it at the close 1,069 and traded at 1,070, which is the all-time high. This is going to split 10-for-1 in a few weeks. Look at that chart. Before it splits, it might be headed to 1,200. I'm not kidding. 1175.12 is my target. And of course, Tesla, with the inverse head and shoulders, looks potentially intriguing, doesn't it? However, you don't want it to break down below the platform. So we made 2 layers of support for Tesla, 167.75 and 157.5. We can just get it above 187, and it might take off and reach 195, 205, and even 225. But I wouldn't anticipate a breakout of a down channel. It's still a mired one, although the bottom pattern looks like a breakaway gap, running gap, and then a consolidation. So the measured move takes me up to about 220.25 if it breaks out. Anticipating a bit. Tesla looks intriguing, but not as good as the others, although it does look like a bottoming pattern. Let's go to the major ETFs we follow closely and the groups we follow, which are semiconductors. How about the SMH new all-time high on Friday, reaching 244.80 and finishing at the high. Now, this is the highest price ever reached, and it finished at the high going away. Nice, certainly a nice. And Thursday was a breakout too. Where can this go? Well, 255.65 area would be a target. Financials aren't quite keeping pace. They've actually pulled back down. Has to do with interest rate cut delays, I believe, but we'll see. Low 102.50 is what I want to see hold. If that breaks, I could trigger a much better sell-off. But with the triple top up at a 111.75, that's the area of concern we want to get through. And if we do, mid-range target might be 117.18. What about biotechs? Not doing well. And that's the big concern I have, with semiconductors being the sole group of the major groups leading the way. This is now pulled back down after breaking support. We're now closed under all three moving averages, 10, 21, and 50. So for me, any further damage here below, say, 100 on the LABU could signal we are going lower. At least the biotechs are under pressure here. Let's look at some others, and they are gold. The GLD itself has been in a spectacular run, taking it from 150 to 226 over the last year and a half. This is a new all-time high in gold and the GLD. The GDX, not quite the same. It is a 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe fifth wave truncated and a pullback. If you look at this line that I drew today, connecting these lows, we don't need to see gold any lower, but the GDX any lower than right where it was at 34.5. The move gets me to 39.40 if it does make that move. If not, we test 33, and then the big support at 32. That's GDX. NUGT, similar. So is JNUG. So we're watching all of these to see whether or not there's going to be more of an intermediate pullback before a larger advance. But when you took a look at the major base pattern that's formed on JNUG and NUGT and a GDX, GDX is a little bit stronger. The others are more leveraged. But, well, this is a very bullish looking structure. So the question is whether we get a bigger intermediate pullback before the major move. Silver, it looks even better. It has the AGQ itself has moved from 22 to 47, more than doubling in a 5-wave advance. Now the pullback. I like silver better than gold, quite frankly. Here's the SLV and the SIL. You can see how strong they are compared to gold. They had their pullback, but not like gold did. So I'd be hunting for silver stocks if I were you, and we'll talk about it a little later. That's gold and silver. What about oil and gas? Well, the UCO. See, oil is in the pressure. Tagged a new 3-month low on Friday before reversing. The next stop might be 28.5 if it fails, but there's also 1, 2, 3, 4, a fifth wave truncated perhaps. We'll see. In any case, oil's in a downtrend for now. Here's the USO. Same thing. What about gas? Well, oil was running. We made a nice swing trade on it from 14 to 24. Look at this. So it broke out. I gave it to you that day. Actually closer to 15.5. And then it ran to 24.75 before the steep reversal. It's right on support here, but it looks like the trend has been broken, so we may need some kind of consolidation back and forth. Looking at the otD side, as the KOLD really got hammered, rolling over from 80 down to under 40. 36 was the low, and that came back to the January area before bouncing. So your resistance on KOLD right now is 54.5. So that covers gold, silver, oil, and gas. We got a lot of stocks to cover. Let's take a look. AAOI. I'm giving you this because it appears on Friday it broke back out through the moving averages and through lateral price resistance. Already had broken the declining tops line and it consolidated, but an engulfing reversal down Friday on 2.1 million indicates maybe this can make a bigger move up towards 1560. ADMA, a very strong rising junior biotech type stock, which went from literally from 3 to nearly 10, tripling. Is very, very, very strong pattern. And a rising flag like that indicates it may even want to go higher. Targets are 10.5 and 12. AEYE, just love this chart. I'm upset with myself for not giving it to you months ago. Anytime you see a breakout of a base and a flag like that, or even one like that, or wedge like that, it should be a swing. And I don't think it's done until it gets into the low to mid 30s. AGBA with explosive move breakaway gap, and now the pullback on the holding support and bouncing. So keep an eye on this one. If it gets through that zone, say 3, 3.25, it could take off, and the target is 5.75. AGEN, a long decline, and a reverse split stock as well. Got it all the way down to under 5. Ramped up to, exploded to 14, 9 points in a week and a half. Now a beautiful coil and a breakout. So I think it's headed for 16 and 19. AGI, this is in the gold sector. Nice pattern. Multi-year highs. As a matter of fact, the highest level in 12 years. With this kind of a move, we may very well see high teens, low 20s. AGQ, that's the silver ETF we talked about. I like it, but I want to see it back and fill a little bit first. AGX in the engineering construction area, just ramping it up. Breaks out of the base, flags and explodes. Flags again and pops. It continues to go. My target, mid-70s. ALAR, beautiful rising channel, very similar to AEYE, and really nice rising channel. Breaks out last week. I think we may see the stock head into the mid-40s, low 50s. ANF, probably the best retailer in Wall Street in terms of the chart. A year and a half ago, it was trading at 14. Here it is 151. I would call that a tenfold increase and a great move. It doesn't look done. APP, for a long decline, and so I'll go from 125.30 down to single digits, right back up in the 80s. And now, forming a beautiful little wedgie here. Here's what I'm thinking. Stock isn't done yet. Eventually, it's a $100 stock. ARQ breaks out and consolidates. You might call this a 1, 2, 3, 4, but at least the fifth wave may be due, which could take you to 12, 13. It's going to need, though, a move over 8.25, so keep that in mind. ASPN aerogels, if you're dropping from the 60s into the single digits, it's had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave move. So it may be extended, having gone from 5 to 30, 6-fold increase, but doesn't look done yet. I would look for mid-30s. ASTS exploded a week ago and pulled back. Friday it reversed, or it appears to have. Stop on a 4, targets 5.75 and 6.5. AU in the gold sector. It pulled back after breaking out the multi-year highs. 1-year highs. But still, I'm looking for eventually for a $30 stock. AZZ. Spectacular V bottom with a platform. A run up and a wedge and a break. Here's your breakout. Flag, pop, flag, pop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, consolidating and at resistance. If this blows from here, it's a $95 stock. BLBD, I've been on top of this since it broke out of the inverse head and shoulders when I was looking at it at 13. Well, it's gone to 54, folks. And I don't think it's done yet. Looking for 68. Boyle, we talked about. BSX, well, Boston Scientific has been phenomenal. In 3 years, it's gone from 24 to 76. Most importantly, look at the recent rising channel, which calls for a move to 80, 79.80. CAMT breaks out of a base, runs up sharply, coils, flags, breaks out, does another consolidation for months, and then pops and breaks out again. It's at the top of the channel, a little bit more risky up here. CAVA, this restaurant chain broke out, wedged, popped, stair-stepped this way higher from the beautiful coil there, and then broke out again. Right now, we're not going to be shocked to see this get to 100. CCJ, the largest purveyor of uranium, on Friday reversed a 3-day pullback, jumping $1.55. My targets at 57 and 64. Cdna, beautiful left shoulder, head, and double right shoulder, inverse head and shoulder breakout with a breakaway gap, and a flag, and a pop. Wow, this is a nice chart. Tech trader swing. 18 and 21 are targets. CECO environmental pollution controls has literally gone from 4 to 26 in the last couple of years. You can see the current action on Friday popped out. I have an extension target of 30. CELH, even after a split, keeps going. One of those monster stocks that's gone from low single digits to mid 90s. My target now is 110. CGC, pop pullback, pop wedge. I'm looking for a fifth wave to take this 15 and 19. CGEM, after a big downtrend, it broke out, coiled, popped, retested, and exploded. Now the pullback to the prior high and moving average is a point where you want to hold it. Stops under 21, targets at 25, 30, and 35. Clearfield breaks out of a base with a breakaway gap and wedges. Nice setup for a move to low 40s or more. CLS, long-term rising channel. Current breakout of a triple top, flag, bop, 65 target. CLSK, if the Bitcoin realm continues to press higher, CLSK should get back to 25 and then go to 35. But you better pay attention to support, which right now is 15. CMCM in the mobile area, Cheetah Mobile, spiked wedge and popped. Now forming another, looking for 7.5. CONL, this is the tracking stock for Coinbase. Again, if the crypto stocks run, there's a fifth wave coming, I believe, which could blow it out. Now, 85 and then 120 potential targets or even more. Stop under 39. Koya broke out and pulled back. I am not happy with this at all. Anything under 7.75 and it's right there, might be exiting time. If it does pop, you're going to have to take out 9.75 first and then 10.75. Coupang with a 1, 2, 3, and 4, looking for a fifth wave that gets us to high 20s. Nice chart. CRBP exploded and coiled, broke out and coiled, popped to resistance and backed off. But net, I got a high 60s target, maybe 70. This could be a big one. If it breaks out, over 50 could run. CRNT. Well, obviously, it was doing very well here, and then it pulled back and popped, and then backed off again. Notice how it's holding support right around the 260 area. On Friday, it popped 262 to 283. 6%, not a biggie, but looking for a retest of 335, 4, and 4.5. Criteo breaks out of a coil. Looks like it wants to run. This tech trader swing extending to 40 low and then mid 40s. Carvana's been in a 3-week or 2.5-week flag after reaching channel top. Not bad action. Long-term move, phenomenal. 3 and change to 129. Next target, 145. Dell. Tech trader swing since way back here in September when it was 69. It's doubled, got up almost 100 points to 166. I can't tell you where this bottoms, but it's got momentum and maybe as high as 190 to 200. The ESP base broke out here, flag, and broke out again, and now it's got another flag. $18 target. DRS in the aerospace group, nice stair-step move up. My target is 27. DYN broke out of a multi-month base and pulled back. If it holds here, 40 and 48 are targets. Emergent Bio popped and pulled back now. It's a 4-day pullback near support. I really want to see it hold right there and run up to my next target at 7 and 8.5. In the gold sector, Eldorado's beautiful rising channel has taken it from 5 to 16, and yet I think 19's in the cards. ERJ breaks out of a base, coils, surges, falling wedge, pop, flag, target 35. ETHE, another crypto stock, a crypto ETF. Based on the angle of ascent, looks like high 40s. E2 pops out of a coil and forms a flag. This is a tech trader swing. I need to get it above 510 to get it rolling. Then we're looking at 5.75, 6, and 6.75, 7. EVER, beautiful base breakout and rising channel. Just based on the angle alone, I'm looking for high 20s. Flex, beautiful long-term chart. Nice rising channel the last 2 years. Spectacular surge last week. Maybe a little bit overbought, but momentum is strong. We could see high 30s. FREY breaking out of a base after a long downtrend and then pulling back, but it popped on Friday. This looks pretty good to me. I think we're going to test 3 and then 3 3/4. In the shipping group, FRO has been phenomenal all year. In fact, for 2.5 years now, from 6 to 28. But my target now is 35. Fresh bet breaks out of a base, flags, pops, does it again. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I think this is a 1, 2 of 5. I'm looking for a 3, 4, and 5 to get this 150. For solar, big explosive move last week. Major breakout. I would love to see a pullback consolidation because I think this is going back to 300 and then 325. FSM, for another silver miner, beautiful junior silver. Pop, coil, and pop. I'm looking for much more. Eventually, we're getting this up to 8. FTAI, beautiful chart. Just keeps going up. No telling where they stop this one. But my next target is 90.92. GNK and the shipping group pulled back last week. I think it's a buy to pull back to the breakout point and the 50-day moving average and reversed. But stop on the Friday's low of 21. I'm looking for a retest to 23 and then up to 25.6. GOGL and the shipping group had a great spectacular move until Wednesday when it got hammered. Had an inside day Thursday and then bounced back Friday, but this one's got to hold, stop on the 13 3/4. Then I need a move to take this back over 14 1/4 to get it back to 16. Canada Goose, long downtrend, nice base, pop right to resistance, wedged. Watch this one for a move over 14 1/2 3/4, then your target 17 1/2, 18. GBA in the construction engineering group looks like it's headed to 70. That's my target. Great chart. HIMS did a 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th wave's underway. Don't think it's done yet. I'm looking for mid-20s. HMY, silver gold miner, nice chart. Like to see a pullback. Support 8 1/4, target 11. Hood breaks out of its base, surges, coils, breaks out, retests, and pops. Basically, if you get this one over 21, you might see 25 and 30. HROW with a breakaway gap and a beautiful wedge and a pop looks like a certainty for me for 23. HRTX, a long downtrend. I saw it go from the mid-20s, even higher than that, mid-50s, all the way back down to under $1. Has now gone up 6-fold to 360. Huma breaks out of inverse head and shoulders and runs to the runs to the first target. And if it pulls back, maybe an entry up near 5 1/2, 6, 5 to go to 6. But if it should get through 8, you might see 10 and 12. IMMR breaking out a multi-year base. Looks like a target of 11 1/2. INCR, nice ramp up channel. My target is 490. INOD, pop, rising flag, pulls back and reverses with an engulfing reversal day. I'm thinking 15 and 18. IREN in the crypto world breaks out of a wedge and spikes near the highs. There's resistance right up here. We get through it as a $12, $13 stock. Jumaya exploded, orderly pullback, tested key support, and ran up again. But it's pulled back. Right now, it's got a falling wedge of sorts. It may have broken on Friday. Keep an eye on this one. Targeting 7 1/2, 8, and then 9 1/2, 10. KD, beautiful rising channel up against the top of it, but flagging extension targets low 30s. Lidr breaks out of a base and forms a wedge. Keep an eye on this one. Friday's pop of 65 cents or 23%, maybe an indicator that it's going higher. Targets are 5 and 7. LMB, beautiful long-term chart. Pulled back over the last few weeks, held support, moved back up to new highs. They were double top. Looking for 70. LRN, nice rising channel as well, flagging in its zone, 75 and 78 targets. LSF, with an explosive move and a full pullback falling wedge to the 50, it popped again and then coiled again. Another falling wedge. Folks, this is one of those stocks on a long-term basis that's coming out of a big base. It's a reverse split stock as well. And should it get to 365, we're looking at 6 and 7. LSPD tech trader swing, broke out of a base and pulled back. And Friday popped again. If this one gets through 1565, I'm looking for 17.5 and 20. Mara, another crypto stock in a long-term uptrend that tried to break out and backed off. If it gets back above, say 22.85, I think it's going back to high 20s, low 30s. MCY, Mercury General Insurance, flyer. Kind of reminds me of Root. I don't know where this goes, but I'm looking for low 60s and then high 60s. Meso Blast popped and pulled back and then exploded with 1, 2, 3 gaps before the pullback, then a retest and a fib retracement. Then a run up to new highs, a coil, and a pop. Boy, does that look good. I say we're going to test this high near 10. MGNI popped, pulled back, and popped again on Friday. Friday was a good day trade on this one. We get this one to 13, looking at 15. ML, a tech trader swing, has been working. It broke out and wedged, and then it popped from the mid 50s to the 80 range, pulled back, and now exploded on Friday, getting all the way up to 98.53. It jumped 15 points or 19%. I don't think this is done. I'm looking for 125. MRNA, tech trader swing broke out. We put a swing on it. It's worked out great. Basically moving from 115 and change of 160, 170. So 55-point move already. My target is 195. MRUS broke out with a big breakaway gap on Friday and a big move that took it up 37% in one day. I think the momentum takes this to 72, 73. MRBI, after a long downtrend, popped, consolidated, broke out, got to target near 11 and backed off. 14 and 16 are your next targets. Micron and AMD look, like them both. I'm highlighting Micron today. It just feels like a stock that, after a long uptrend, it accelerated, it pulled back, and now it's right at the high. 150.55 is my target zone on Micron. Nanox has been disappointing. I thought it was going to pop here and there. It's pulled back again. No tolerance for this one. Stop is under 8. If it goes, then we'd be looking for a retest of 10, 11 zone. NRG, look at this utility. Triple bottom base near 30 and then ripped and nearly tripled to 86. I don't think it's done yet. 95 target. Nutanix swing since September in the 50s into the mid 70s. My target is 79 and then 88. NTRA is another tech trader swing. Pop, broke out, coiled, and now it's moving again. Great chart. I'm thinking 130 target. Novavax, spectacular breakaway gap and run up. I think 19 and then 25 are doable. We'll see. This has got huge momentum. ONMD exploded Thursday, followed through Friday, and then backed off. Near resistance right there. I'm looking for first of all, it depends on whether it consolidates first. I would like to see that as a setup for a move to 5 and 6. ONON, breakout last week. Breakaway gap and rising flag right at resistance here. Your next target is 45. Oscar broke out here. We put a swing on it. It's been moved beautifully from the mid-teens to the low 20s. It's pulled back a little bit here. I'm now looking for 25 and 27. OUST, nice base. Breakout retest. Explosive move and pullback. Here's what it looks like now. I would think my targeting is going to be 17-ish. 14 and 17 targets. Pan American Silver, looking for more. 24 and 28 are targets. PAYS, nice little rising channel for this low price stock. My target is 5 3/4 and 6.5. Puma breaks out of a base, pops, and now is platforming. Keep an eye on this little low price stock because I think Pitney Bowes, PBI takes out 5 3/4. You're headed for 6 3/4 and 7 3/4. Duo, triple top breakout, spectacular move. 185 and 205 are targets. Impinge, one of my favorites, along with Botanix. This stock went from where it broke out here in the high 50s, low 60s, where we could give you the swing about 175. It's still going. Don't know where the top is, but my target is 185. PRMW breaks out of a base, surges and flags, pops and flags again, spikes. Boy, does this stock have momentum. It's a new all-time high. I can see the stock going mid to high 20s. Pure Storage broke out, wedged, exploded, long coil, breakout, rising flag. Well, I would have to say that the possibilities on this one are at least to about 67.8. Popmatic, poised to pop. This is a 1, 2, and this is a 3, 4. And the fifth wave could be 27 and 32. Rent literally went vertical and exploded from 4.5 to 28.90 in a week. Then pulled back for a couple weeks to 3 weeks, exploded from 935 to get this, 41.81. Now it's a falling wedge. If it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, we may need more time for wave 4, but eventually this could be much higher. REVG in the automotive group of farm and construction machinery, sorry. Pop coil, pop consolidate coil as well, and then another. But now they're stepping its way higher, and that target's 32. RNA Tech Trader swing broke out, wedge, we put a swing on it. It's moved from 6 into the 30 range, 5-fold increase. I don't think it's done yet. If it accelerates, we can see mid to high 30s. Root had the biggest move of the year for us, 14 3/4 to 97. Now coiling. If it breaks that coil, particularly if it gets above, say, 71, we can go right back to 85.90 or 95 to 100. RXST, I like this overall look. Huge move. Broke out of the base at 14 and 15 range and kept going. Now it's coiling after reaching as high as 66. Target, 71. In the shipping group, Starbulk continues to press higher in a beautiful rising channel. A little bit of resistance and target at 28, then you're looking at 30 and 33. SC, the Chinese gamer, breaks out of a base here, runs up and consolidates. That's a 1, 2, and this is wave 3 with a 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm looking for one more wave up into the 78, 80 range. Seed with a 1, 2 coil, 3, 4, consolidate, rising channel. I think 7.5, 9 3/4, and 12 over the next few weeks and months may be doable on this one. SIL, we talked about it earlier. Sketchers, I just love this long-term chart. And this is a 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth wave is a 1, 2. I'm looking for 3, 4, 5. Get this to 80. SMR explodes, wedges, and starts to trend. We get to this level, we're looking for 9 and 11. SMTC in the semiconductor group broke out, flag, pop, flagging again. My target is 45.6. SRTS, after a long downtrend, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down, it reversed under $2 and it's made it all the way up to 6 and change before flagging right here. Next target is 7 3/4, 8. I like this one. SVM, that's a silver purveyor, big base pattern that could support a move to 6.5 and 9 longer term. Silver. Talk, Tech Trader swing, popped out and ran, and then pulled right back to that point again. Needs to hold. The stop is under 2.5. I think the stock breaks out of a 3 1/4, runs up to 4 and 5 and 6. Zim, another shipper. A spectacular move off of this pullback and break out there. A little bit long in the tooth, but my target now is 24. And that's it for the long side. I got some shorts to talk about, and we'll call it good for today. Adobe, 1, 2, 3, 4, bear wedge. You see Thursday and Friday it pulled back down, and should it break, some support at 460, but then I think we're headed to 425. Autodesk, head and shoulder top. We gave you a short right there at about 248. You got crushed to 2056 from the bear coil, and it came down hard but bounced. You can see where there's key support at 2089. If it breaks that, we're headed to 193.94. Akamai, Tech traded swing short since it plunged and bear flagged. Has rolled over from 114 down to 90 and then bounced. I don't see a bottom yet. Targeting 89 and 84. AMIN, this has been a spectacular topping pattern breakdown right to resistance. So for me, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one more wave down takes me into the low to mid 40s. AMR, not sure yet. I would cover this, but if it breaks down underneath 283, we could be plunging into the low 200s. Biohaven, beautiful uptrend, breakdown there, bear wedge, and another one. Still looking for a move to 26. BRZE, tech traded swing, rolled over, and it's got a bear flag, bear coil. We break that bear coil, you might be headed to 34 and even 30. CAR, massive top formation, breaks down in wedges, breaks down to lower lows, and then right back to resistance. But you can see it's pulled back again. This entire pattern, if it's bearish, could roll over and retest 92 and get all the way down to 75. COR looks like a head and shoulder or a topping pattern to me. And it's going lower. If it does break 215, my targets are 207 and 196. Dash, this is the tech traded swing short. It broke down and formed a bear wedge there. Broke that wedge but held support and bounced on Friday. I still think it's a bear flag and we go lower. 185 are targets. Disney broke down here, has been drifting lower ever since. The target was and is 95, and then I'm looking at 90. Fox Factory has been in a downtrend for a year, almost. Well, been in a downtrend since it's 2.5 years. But it's a massive 1, 2, and this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it might bounce in here, or extend the channel down to get down to 31, 2. GitLab trying to bounce, but unless it takes out, 60, I stay short. If it cracks 51, 45, and 40 are targets. INFA, breakdown of the trend, little bear flag. Breakdown again, a larger bear flag. You break from this, you're headed for 25.6. INMD, look at this spectacular long-term bearish chart, which is taking it from the 90s into the high teens. And yet, that bear flag tells me it might even go lower. Sentinel-1, that's the tech traded swing short. It hasn't really done anything yet. It continues to form a bear flag in here. I don't want to see it go over 23. But any roll over here, we can see 20, 18, and less. Shopify broke its head and shoulder top, snapped back and failed, and rolled over it with a breakdown. And look at it, right on support at the gap. Any lower levels here, and the gap fill might get you down to 49. Yelp, head and shoulder top breakdown, rising bear wedge. That was a no-brainer. It's plunged right back down to support. My next target for Yelp is 32, 33. Zscaler broke down, snapped back, and then broke down again. And right now it's just drifting. I think that if it does what it should do, we're headed to 150 and then 135. I'm going to call it good today. That's it for this weekend. You guys have a great rest of your weekend and enjoy the 3-day holiday. I'll talk to you guys Tuesday. Make sure you review this a couple times and be prepared for that. Bye now.